Hi guys, it's me, Miko, and today I wanted to, well, cover a small range of topics actually, because I'm not going to be on too often. Again, go me. Tomorrow I have a small surgery again, not a very big one, another one on my back. Um, so I wanted to let you guys know that. So I'm not disappearing on purpose, I'm just disappearing because I kind of have to. Um, that's out of the way. Uh, this week, someone has found their way into the never ending hole that is this family's ability to troll the trolls in our lives. And so there's one person that seems to think that I am a leftist, I suppose. And he seems to think that well, I don't know what he seems to think about me because I'm not inside of his head clearly. But I must start this off with the conversation began because I made some rude interjectory comments about Jordan Peterson. That being said, I don't hide the fact that I'm upset about some of the things he has said. While I believe, oh my goodness, he's a knowledgeable human being, he knows a lot of what he's talking about. I feel that there is a problem with the way that he presents what he says. My problem with what he says is the way in which he says things. He says women should this, men should that. And so he speaks in an absolute construct. So the way that he says it, he's saying it in this way that it's like, I'm an authoritarian, I'm the authority here, and this is how women should be, and this is how men should be, and there is nothing outside of that, which is wrong. There's plenty outside of that, and we all know this by now. What people don't understand, and I do understand about Jordan Peterson, is that he idealizes a time in life where America used to put up a false face of the perfect family. Mom and dad, mom in the kitchen with the pearls and the high heels, with the hair perfectly done so that she could cook dinner for the family while she's running the vacuum and tending to the animals and darning the socks and pretty much doing all of the chores and the work so that the family can just simply live and enjoy life because mom is their slave. In the 1950s, there was a lot of that idea that mom just took care of the house and the family while dad went out and brought home the bacon. Until Ronald Reagan became president, um, that was kind of a possibility for families, but it wasn't common then either. It wasn't common then because most families have realized that when one partner is not in the marriage for the reason that one should be in a marriage for, then the other one uh, is being used, basically. And so people have learned that divorce is an option outside of death for marriage. And so in the 1950s, those women who presented that sort of household are also a lot of those same women, see a lot, not all, a lot of those same women were taking Valium, which led to the stereotype of the mother's little helper. That Rolling Stones song that was talking about the stereotype, Mother's Little Helper. It was a very well-known fact that a lot of mothers used to take Valium so that they can deal with their life and their family life and having to do all of the stuff in the household and hold everything together while still putting on a pretty face. They had to do that on some sort of medication because they needed it to wind down at the end of the day. Because during the day, a lot of those moms were taking Black Beauties, in which they were speeding all day long, and so they needed something at the end of the day to calm themselves down. That's some households. It was rumored that it was more than half of the households, but I won't go into rumors or statistics or anything like that because I don't have it pulled up right now, and I really don't want to get into all of that because that's nonsense. It's neither here nor there how many households it was. It's just to show the fact that this is not the rule or the exception to the rule. It's just a happenstance. All of these are different types of situations, which means that Jordan Peterson would be wrong in his presentation of it being like a blanket cover. Well, if you get yourself a husband and have children and move to the suburbs, you'll live a happy life. This is not always the case. This is not always true because people need to find their compatibility. I'm not going to lie. I was married at the age of 17. I didn't know what compatibility meant, and I was trying so hard to force myself into a role of being in love with my husband. I didn't know what love was the first time, and the second time I was 22. Really didn't know much better than either. So I am very, very lucky to have found my way out through divorce. I'm a very lucky girl that way. I'm luckier still that I have found that I do not need a partner to survive in life. While I do have offers, several of them, as the troll from the other day pointed out, I do have a nice rack. And yeah, so there is that. I don't take these offers because I know my worth. I know my value. I do not wish to be seen as one man's property or another man's trophy. That's not what I want out of my life. I want to travel. I do that now. I want to work as a writer. I do that now. I want to work on personal side projects that I have been meaning to get around to for years and years, and parenthood kind of put me on a slow path to that. Well, my kids are all in their 20s now, thank the gods. I can move on with those now too. So I'm no longer stagnant and waiting for children to come home from school or running through chores or having to please a husband or having to deal with in-laws or anything like that anymore. I am now able, finally, as an empty nester, thank the gods, I am finally able to handle and deal with my own things for myself. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I asked her, does she regret not having kids? Because, you know, according to Jordan Peterson, all women should have kids before 30 or they will regret it, and she's 42, I think. So I asked her, do you regret it? She said, fuck no. And here's why. Part of her job involves traveling. Her lifestyle does not give any leeway for having children. The life that she lives isn't really adaptable for children. And she chose this lifestyle. She chose it because this is the lifestyle she loves. She would have had to change all of that around if she were to have a child, much less several. She's quite happy with the life she has. And she has her wife. They have their condo, well, the two condos that they have, one on each coast. They live a very happy life. They travel all over the place. And they don't worry about very much anything except paying the bills back at home. their lives are complete by their standards. I don't see why anyone else, Jordan Peterson or his cultists, should have a say in whether or not she should be happy with her decision. And I know, I'm going to get yelled at for calling them cultists. But here's the thing. He's looking at that timeline and idealizing it and trying to push that idea on people when that idea of a family never truly existed except on TV, and it never truly worked. But that's the idea that they're trying to push on everyone. Okay. But you're trying to push that idea onto a generation of women and men who have seen their moms get beaten and bloodied and thrown out or replaced with a younger model, or their moms get cheated on and lied to, or they've seen their parents be really, really shitty to one another over custody or whatever, and they've seen all of the toxic inner workings of relationships, and they've seen their parents have to raise them as single parents. They see all of this, and they see their mom and dad saying, I want you to have a better life than I do. Now you see all the single moms sitting there saying, I want you to have a better life than I do. I want you to go to college and make something of yourself. Now you have these women who are growing up thinking, well, I've got to have a life that's better than my mom's, and I have to make something of myself because then it's my responsibility to my mom to be able to do so. Because she put her ass on the line for me, because she lived her entire life to make sure that I was able to do this. But now you're telling them, okay, that's all well and good, but stop doing all that now. Get married, have children, and this way you'll be happy. Otherwise, you'll never find happiness that way. That is wrong, and it's a dangerous mindset to try to throw at somebody or try to trap somebody into. Because again, one size does not fit all. There is not one way that everyone should be. There is not one type of life everyone should live. That I had children at an early age was lucky for me. I got to grow up with my children, and my children are now grown adults, and I now have, while I'm still young enough to enjoy it, a life to move forward with. And I can still do it while I'm still relatively young enough to enjoy it. My goodness, sorry. Allergies. All that being said, my dad was a biker, and the way that he raised me was, if you're going out there and you're living your life to the fullest and you're having your fun, and you find somebody who can have that kind of fun with you, and you find somebody who can see eye to eye with you on your views, and who can treat you like a good partner, be there with you eye to eye on everything. Well, not everything, but they can argue with you with respect, then you found a partner to hitch your ride to. But he never married, my dad. He found this one woman he fell in love with, but he couldn't keep it in his pants long enough to keep her. My dad was such a Lothario. My adoptive dad. He didn't find a woman he didn't like, and he tried to get with them all. I'm not trying to get with them all. I just try to get with the ones I enjoy getting with. And if love shows up at my door, whenever it shows up, whatever it looks like or whatever, maybe I'll deal with it then, but it's not here now, so why am I going to go looking for it? Dad always told me it would come hunting me down. It's not hunting. So I am not looking, and I am not really bothered to, because I really don't have the energy to be bothered with any of it, because right now my entire focus is on my life, my career, and the construction within my house, because that's really all I have the time and the energy to focus on. So sorry, Jordan, again with the no, not all women want to be swept off of our feet and taken off to that castle in the suburbs where we have the his and hers puppies in the yard. because that's just not the way that all women work, and that's not the way that all women function, because all women were not created equal in just the same way that all humans were not created equal. So you're right in a sense when you say that men and women aren't created equal. I'm not saying that we can't do the same jobs. We definitely can. And sometimes we can do it better than you. My point with that is that those of us who can do it better than you maybe are worse at something else. Those of us who excel in history aren't so great with the math or the science, you know? Because all humans weren't created equal, because we're all unique, because we're all different. And so therefore, in speaking in absolutes, you're speaking irresponsibly to your audience. And that was my beef with you. I did not mean to call you an idiot. I was upset at the time. I apologize for that. I do, however, think that it's highly irresponsible for you to speak to your audience in the manner in which you do, because you set it down as if it is canonical, as if it is gospel, verbatim from your words into a Bible of sorts that they pull up on the internet, like, oh, this is the gospel according to Jordan Peterson, here it is, and you are wrong because of this. If you were to take a little more responsibility in what you say and how you say it, I would take it a little bit more seriously and not have these moments where I'm sitting here going, dude, you make yourself sound like a douche. So that's my 2 cents. I will talk to you guys soon.